All right, everybody, we are live again. Dynasty Mirror Search for Huru. And I have my brother Kala Genesis on with us today. And tonight's topic is Coonin in America, now Coonin in Africa. Now, we spoke about Black China just a minute ago. We were off the air. So I don't know if you want to start there, Kala, or where you want to start at.
Well, what I want to start basically is the fact that, like you were saying, is somehow people think that, and I've noticed this for a few years now. I've been saving this up. I've been noticing this for a few years. You got black people who go to Africa, right? And they know most Africans are not about color, race, and all the stuff like that. They'll tell you, "Oh, race don't exist." So they want to free themselves from the black-white paradigm in America, right? And go to Africa. Oh, see, it's no big deal seeing a grown man with an African child on his lap and everything like that. Anything goes over here. It's okay for black and white women to be sitting on the beach soliciting sex with African men, or go to Mumbai and you see these African children selling their bodies to European tourists. Oh, everything goes good. So in the midst of that, you got the Negro American feels that this is an opportune time to get my Negro on, and they
To get your what on?
get your Negro on, and then what they'll do is they'll put their dashiki on. You know what I'm saying? They'll talk all this about black power and blah blah blah. Then we start digging at them a little bit and everything like that. And you start saying, something, I'm tired of seeing Chinese. Well, you guys, man, don't understand, man. The black man rule. Yeah, there's a black man in the presidency. I understand that. Yeah, you may see black people in the police department, stuff like that. But the real intricacies of white supremacy and white privilege exist in Africa just like it exists anyplace else. You know, you're perfectly okay knowing that if you go to an African restaurant, it happens all the time. I haven't been there, but I know for a fact that people tell me all the time. Sometimes you may not get a restaurant, or you may not get a table, or white people treat you better. Black people treat you better.
Let me interject real quick. I haven't had, I'm gonna say this. I've seen a lot of white zaddy worship in Africa, but I haven't had that issue as far as the treatment.
You're the exception. You're the exception. But let me give you an example. I had my friend Kalen Sutton.
And let me say this real quick. I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I know it happens, but I just I haven't had the issue.
Yeah, you're lucky. You're lucky.
You don't understand.
You're above the average person.
Well, what I'm saying, you don't understand the amount of Negro service I get at some of these bars here in I get the worst Negro service here in Atlanta. So
it's like even when in America. You know what I'm saying? You go to you want to patronize black businesses and everything like that. When a white man walks into the restaurant, the room lights up. Where'd Diners go? Everything all right, brother?
Everything's good. No, I had some company.
Right. Yeah. So everything, when you're in America and you go to a restaurant, and I would love to see this, right? When you walk into a restaurant, a black establishment, and it's, how you doing? Treat me like I'm a customer, not just, well, let me just facilitate your money to get your stuff and get out, And so therefore that that happens a lot here, that happens a lot here. You go to a place and everything like that. We don't know how to treat each other with utmost good service. It just happens. It's almost surprising, like when you go to a place and it's like I don't know what it is. It don't take much for somebody to say, "How you doing, sir?" I look. Granted, I'm black. I understand that. I'm African American. You're African American. You know what I'm saying? But how much would it cost you to say, "How you doing?"
Just a smile.
Smile. And I told this to one girl one time, and it was a white guy standing right next to me, right? And I thought, figured she saw it, but this girl was smile. But I said, you'd be better off you smile. And the guy comes over and say, you know something? I wanted to say the exact same thing. He said, so, young girl, you need to smile. And
yeah, but if you say that, that could be confrontation.
Well, I was just like, And then which this is the type of place where you got you can write the customer survey thing and everything like that. And I said, look, you need to smile, you need to do this because it don't cost you much to smile. She's like, I said, I've noticed you for a while. I come in here and you don't smile. And she's like, I hate smiling. I said, see, I thought it was just me. She said, no. I said, look. So in other words, you're gritting and almost like resentful for the fact that you're in customer service and you got to serve me. You know what I'm saying? You got to serve me. Well, I don't think that's right. 'Cause I'm a paying customer. And a white guy came and said, you know something? I said the same thing. I come here all the time, and I feel bad when I come here. You never smile. Then she sort of like, I guess I will. I'll try.
Yeah. So she was more receptive to the
Yeah,
criticism.
yeah. So the white guy said it. She was like, "Well, I think I'll try," but my point is, okay, in America, I expect that. You know what I'm saying? I expect that. But when I get to the continent of Africa, like I said, matter of fact, maybe I'll just resign to the fact that it's not going to be like, remember, like Lion King, and the trumpets, you know.
Hey, do it again, do it again, do it again.
And in the circle of life, and everything parts and everything like that, and then all right, you go there after novelty. Okay, you have Black American, blah 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 blah. But after a while, as more of us start visiting the continent and everything, we have to resign to the fact that as long as globally, and this is a problem all over the globe, Black people do not respect other Black people. We do not really love other Black people. We don't elevate and cherish being Black. You know what I'm saying? And I see this all the time. You know what I'm saying? I see this all the time. It's blatant disrespect. Black people automatically are dismissive. We are dismissive of each other. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to respect you. Why? Because you're Black. You know what I'm saying? I don't have to respect you. But Europeans, they go any part of the world and they get respect. You know what I'm saying? That white skin is a passport to the whole globe of respect because of what the white man has built around the globe.
Well, like I said before, the poor white backpacker is Jesus in Africa.
Right. I don't get it. You know what I'm saying? I don't get it. Well, I do get it, right? But what I'm saying is this: we understand that. We understand that the white man was kicking ass for 300 something years, right? And so he put fear and admiration in Asia. Look at Asia. Asia spends $20 billion on skin bleaching and surgery to look white. $20 billion a year. $20 billion a year to look white. Asians spend money on. You know what I'm saying? They openly say, "Have your skin look white." You know.
No, go. You keep talking, Colin.
Okay, yeah. Okay,
Yeah.
so white supremacy. We can't keep saying that white supremacy is just something that the white man got his foot on. No, it's something that we participated. We, the non-white people, we participated in. We worship each other based on who's lighter skin, who has better hair. I'm sick of hearing that. Who's light skin, who's better hair. Now you got some light skinned chicks walking around talking about, I got to deal with my light skin. You ain't got your heifer ass ain't got no light skin privilege. Walk around talking about you got to help out the because like, you got light. Get shut the heck up. But the whole thing is this. My point is this. My point is this. If you're gonna go to Africa and practice colorism, what's the point? You know what I'm saying? If you're gonna go to Africa and go to Ethiopia because they're lighter skinned and practice colorism, what's the point? If you're gonna go to Africa and basically messing with dating Chinese women and dating Arab women and dating European women and all the stuff like that, what's the point? Oh, wait a minute here. Main thing is you have your dashiki on. Oh yeah, that's the main thing.
Right.
Basically you can speak like 2 or 3 African languages.
Blackity blackity black.
Yeah, main thing. So basically, you can do everything you want, whatever crooked business deals you can do, And I say like this: I hear people talk about, well, you can go to Africa and pay somebody $25 a month and they'll work for you. No, I'm not gonna agree with that. You know what I'm saying? You know how much your person's worth and everything. Why would you go over there and participate and exploitation. You know what I'm saying? Why can't we go over there and do real business deals with brothers and sisters who want to build a continent? And I want to talk about this thing tonight called the grid. I think there's something that I think we're missing in the whole equation of building with Africa. We're missing one vital point. We do not have a global grid that Black people are connected to. What I mean by global grid, what is a grid? Grid is the system. Grid is everything systematic. You know what I'm saying? Where goods, services, utilities, everything flows, and people live in a organized system of living that sustain themselves. In other words, when you live on a grid, you can live within five. You can have everything you have in your life within a 2 mile radius. You can live 2 miles. You could travel no farther than 2 miles of your radius of where you live and have everything that you need in life to sustain life. You could only have that in a modern industrial and modern urbanized system that's developed. That's what Singapore did. Singapore, Malaysia, all these people built huge, horizontally integrated, expanded horizontally, huge housing estates adjacent to industrial business estates and everything, and said, okay, you're going to work here, you're going to school here, you're going to play here, you're going to live here, you're going to dwell here and everything. You are not going back to the villages. You're not going to live in shanty towns. You're not going to live off the grid. You know what I'm saying? Now, we have a friend of ours on Facebook. He was getting down with us this week on Facebook, Titus, and he was showing us all these pictures of this is how we get down in Nigeria. Remember that?
Yeah.
And he showed us these nice Jeeps and everything like that. He showed us these nice houses and everything, But that's one part of one thing. That's like 5% of the population lives on the grid. Yeah, they got nice houses, and that's a nice housing estate. But 90% of the people are not living.
You can't even say that. It's probably like probably more like 1%. Because Nigeria, if you don't have a generator, you could be out of electricity for like 12 hours.
Even if you don't have even the houses that they got houses, they're not part of the grid because they have no generator, no indoor plumbing. You know what I'm saying? You have to have a septic system, which is dangerous in modern times. Where you got too many of them and get them in the area. You know what I'm saying? And you have a generator, and you have to buy your water. You know what I'm saying? A water truck got to come and put water in your tank for your water for the month. That's living off the grid in an urban environment. Now, how do we ask the question? How do we get to the point where the black race can finally build a modern civilization that can sustain ourselves? Why can't we put all our brains together and start building these sustainable? Well, we don't have to have these mass migrations of people.
I could tell you why, Carla. We're waiting on the Chinese to do it.
Yeah, and that's another thing. How is it that you're going to call yourself a black nationalist, a black power nationalist, and all this kind of stuff? Black man this, black man he built the pyramids, but yet you talk about this. Well, we're gonna have the Chinese build. I mean, I don't. Am I losing my mind or something? Am I?
You're not. No.
Am I going crazy? You're gonna sit here and tell me on one hand, oh, we built civilization. We're the cream of the civilization. We rose to the top of it. We civilized it. We went to Europe and showed them how to bathe and all this kind of nonsense that we believe for.
The Moors.
We showed the Europeans
how to bathe, how to use a toothbrush.
Okay, so how to use toothbrush. We showed them how to use forks and knives and everything. But and like I said, maybe people need to be clowned a little bit. The bottom line is this: you tell me you cannot a simple thing that's been around for when did Westinghouse come in? The 1890s, right? 1870, 1890. That's when the first power grid was created in the United States. That was 100 and 90, 130 years. You mean to tell me 130 years, the systems of electricity, how to maintain an electrical grid that's been mastered all over the world and everything like that, that you can probably go on YouTube right now You don't have to go to some special college anymore. You got the demonstrations right there on YouTube. You cannot figure out how to maintain a power grid, you know what I'm saying? And give everyone electricity, charge them a reasonable rates, give everybody electricity where you can have energy, where you can have 24-hour day electricity around the clock and everything like that, where you're not burning generators, you're not doing all this stuff like that. You have schools, hospitals, you can have institutions, everything like that, and your civilization can start moving ahead forward. Everything you tell me you can't do that, the basic, you know.
Real quick, Colin, let me shout out the super chat. Shout out to Bernice for the super chat. How you doing? Shout out to Chima Madu for the super chat and the good fella 36. Shout out to him for the super chat. He said, unless a black person is looking to solve the original problem of our ancestors wanting to go home, I'm calling BS, BAIO.
Oh, what is that supposed to mean? There
Uh,
people are talking vague. We need some more clarity. Whatever, whoever he is, what the hell are you talking about? You know, don't talk in superlatives. Come out and say what you freaking mean. What is the problem, ancestors? And what are you talking about going home? You talking about so the end result of what you're saying is stay in America? Negro, shut the hell up. These Negroes are Negro stalling tactics. Let's stall. Let's beat around the bush. That's everything. The desire to build Africa needs to be there. I think that's what it is. When you have desire and you want to build and you want to create, that's what's going to trigger everything. That's what's going to trigger everything. Right now, what you have in Africa right now, you don't have real nation states. People say,
well, it's not even that. All the ingenuity is here in America. Whenever I bring up, hey, how about you go back and build your country? I'm the bad guy. I'm the bad guy for just suggesting that you take what you learn in the West and take it back to Africa and help and build. I'm the bad guy. Colin.
do. And you got this other guy from Cameroon. He's over in
Colin, you had no. We didn't hear you for like whatever you said. We didn't hear you.
No, the brother that's in Nassau. Granted, he knows robotics, everything, but why is he helping Nassau? What about the Ghanaian and the Nigerian and the West African space program and stuff like that? Why not build that? Why are we always trying to get accolades from Europeans and white people's institutions in their world? We're always building up their world, and we look back at and give ourselves a pat on the back like we're doing something. Well, other people, they're creating their own grid. Asia has China and Asia. China has, let me see, China has 1 billion people, but it still has 400 million people living off the grid. Now, does anybody understand where I'm coming from with that? When I say off the grid, Diane, you understand what I'm talking about? China has 400 million people off the grid right now.
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
China has 400 million people. I mean, people are living in the fifth world, fifth world, not even the third world, but the fifth world. You know what I'm saying? Brazil, majority of people, black people, live off the grid. You know what I'm saying? Off the grid. And what gets me is it's more sustainable. What they found out was it's more sustainable and more helpful by moving people from off the grid on the grid. Why? Because you're using less space. You can put people in apartment buildings. You know what I'm saying? They have centralized everything, and they have a collective place for goods and services and everything. But when you have people living off the grid, they're using more resources. They're cutting down trees. You know what I'm saying? They're making coal out of stuff like that. They're more likely to pollute. You know what I'm saying? Because they're not having access to toilets and also like that. So modernization should be the key of everything. But everybody thinks that in order to modernize, to advance means you got to get the visa lottery and get on a plane to America. That's not what it should be. The modernization should be building, developing, and
I got to do a show on that. The advancement to the African is a visa lottery to America.
Yeah, the visa lottery to America and the West. You covet that lottery to get out of Africa, and you're part of the French Union or British, and now the Ghanaian government is building closer ties with France and the UK and all stuff like this. And so you ask yourself this question. You ask yourself the question: what is the Ghanaian, the so-called black power community in Ghana talking about? You know, we got the president of Ghana who are strengthening ties with I think somebody said visa lottery. Yeah, visa lottery is they have a lottery. The United States give out a certain amount of lotteries every year, a visa lottery every month, right? And if your name is drawn, your name is drawn out of this thing. It's like you pick a lucky number, you get a visa, and you get to come to the United States. That's what's called a visa lottery. Well, I think
Yeah,
Donald
but
Trump just shut it
it's
down.
a lot of like requirements though. Yeah, I think like you have
Yes,
education or something like that. You
yeah,
got to go to
so there's a
school.
lot of requirement. You don't just anybody like that, but that's the whole idea. But it's coveted. You know what I'm saying? You get to go to the United States, you know, and stay for a certain amount of years. You know, so that's that's back to this point when we was talking about cooning in Africa. You know, I see people telling me stop worrying about the Chinese in Africa. You know, stop worrying about the Chinese in Africa. So if the Chinese are not such a problem in Africa, why do people get upset when I keep talking about
Okay, let me ask you this, Kyla, real quick. So when I brought up the Chinese and what their role in Africa as far as building Africa, somebody gave me the rebuttal that that's okay because when you're dealing with countries like Saudi Arabia, it wasn't the Saudis who built Saudi Arabia; it was foreign corporations who built Saudi Arabia. What's your thoughts on that?
it? Well, Saudi Arabia was an underdeveloped country. You know what I'm saying? The Saudi. Let me tell you. So let me tell you about the Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia was a kingdom. Is a kingdom. There's a difference, right? So you have all these various tribes that live, basically so primitive people who live in these various tribes, and you got all these young men with no skills, no education, no industry, no anything like that, living in the desert. You got Bedouins and all these other people and everything like that, and many of them are still tribes people, and many of them are Islamicists. Those type of people, Dynas, will never ever be able to have the capability, the manpower, just the strength to build a modern society. No, this is what black people got to understand something. You're different from Afghanistan. Afghanistan will never pick themselves up. You know what I'm saying? Those people will never do hard work and everything like that that black people do. They'll never be able to be like black people, even brothers and sisters from Africa. They'll never be like that because they're not conducive to hard work. That's why in Dubai they got to bring in labor and stuff like that. You know, that's just their culture. You know, okay. Saudi Arabia is super rich people. They got all this money right here. So they what they do is they give out all that stuff to foreign contracts. You know what I'm saying? Foreign contract. It's only about the elite in the Saudi Arabia, and they give the population a certain basic standard of living and everything. But the thing is, though, with Saudi Arabia is you got all these young men. Think about this. What happens to all those young men who have all those the desires and everything like that pent up and everything, and you stifle that? What happens? What happens? They start turning to what? Extremism. They start turning to Islamic extremism. Why? Because it gives them a purpose. It gives them a manifest destiny. You know, it gives them something to believe in. Right? Why? Because all the basic, they don't have to fight for food and shelter and everything. So the only thing they have is, okay, we want an Islamic state now. That's what you have with the Wahhabism. That's what you have with the Muslim Brotherhood in Egypt and everything, and all these extremists and everything like that. But if you have an industrialized society, those same young men will be taking the same energy and putting that towards trades, building skills, making money. You know what I'm saying? You would have more Dubais in the Middle East. You know what I'm saying? You would have the Middle East would look like Asia right now, where people are getting rich and everything, but the Middle East is mostly impoverished. People have the basics and everything, but they're impoverished and they have no means to do it. Why? Because the government only gives them the bare minimum of what they need to sustain and everything like that, and they have absolutely no way of venting their frustrations or their ambitions in life. So you have all these young men with all this petrol. What do they do? What do they turn to? They turn to Al Qaeda. You know, they think that the problem is the United States, and it is the United States. They feel that if you get rid of the United States, all these secular created, all these governments that are propped up by the United States, like Saudi Arabia, and Kuwait, and all these other places, would crumble, and they would build this big giant caliphate. You know what I'm saying? Which they could probably have some industry, have some science and technology, and take over the world. That's what you had with ISIS in Iraq. You know, so that's what's happening. That's what can happen in Saudi Arabia with Yemen. You know, so that's why Saudi Arabia is trying to stabilize Yemen, because you cannot have keep a whole entire population pent up like that with nothing to do. Generations of young men who are not producing anything. You know, nothing. Show me any inventions the Saudi Arabians have given the world. Show me anything. So are they building cars?
Well, you know what? Here we go. The black Muslim would say that they brought, you know, writing and built Timbuktu, the Arabs, and they brought Islam. Islam. There we go. They brought Islam to Africa. There you go. That's the invention.
Well, this is what I'm saying. The Arab world used to be producers of algebra, geometry, and all these things. It was Islam, Mohammedanism, actually, that destroyed the Arab culture, the Arab mind. The Arabs gave the world logic and reason. Okay, some of the best libraries in the world in Cairo, Timbuktu. That had nothing really to do with Islam. It had to do with a lot of mathematics, science, astronomy, and stuff like that. All that stuff during the time of Muhammad was wiped out because they said the only book that you need to know now is what? The Quran. Because a lot of things of reason and logic contradicted what the Quran was teaching. And that's what you have right now, you know? You have right now. You know, you have this sect that says the only book. Look what happened when they went to Timbuktu.
Now they're destroying it. The extremists.
They're streaming. They're trying to destroy Timbuktu. I thought that Timbuktu was safe from all that. Just before that happened, I said, well, that's the Arab world. They're burning. See how they're burning down tearing down those artifacts in ancient Baghdad and stuff like that. They're tearing down these monuments and everything. And thousands of years old and everything like that. These throwback idiots are destroying this stuff. I said, okay, well, that could never happen in West Africa. Oh, that could never happen. Sure enough, you have these stupid, and you can always tell it, these stupid Negro Arabs and whatnot. They got the beard on. You know what I'm saying? It has nothing to do with the religion. It has to do with black men trying to be Arabs and whatnot. They grow their beard out. You know what I'm saying? And they put the kufi on and everything, and they start spreading this stupid extremist stuff and everything. Oh, and they wear the rags on their heads now because they want to imitate Arabs, and they want to become jihadis. And that's why I say, if you cannot be an African nationalist and be a jihadi at the same time, they don't mix. I'm sorry, we don't mix.
No, jihadi, they're trying to build pretty much build Saudi Arabia in Africa. Their loyalties to Saudi Arabia.
Yeah, their loyalties is to Saudi Arabia, and that's like they said. When people start talking about when you got these people talking about North Sudan, blah 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 blah, you know, and what went on in the Eastern region? What's that place called? I forgot the name. In Eastern Western Sudan, with the Janjaweed, you know, the Janjaweed, Darfur. What was going on in Darfur? And that's a perfect example of what I'm talking about tonight. You know, you had black, brown skinned people who decided they wanted to become Arabs, right? And they want to start oppressing the black skinned people of the Darfur region, right? Call themselves Arabs. Now, both people in the context of America will be considered black. But because you think that the Arab civilization and the Islamic civilization is superior to African civilization, you want to take on the identity of an Arab. You know.
Let me read a couple super chats, and then I got a statement I want to read. It was made in the chat room. Shout out to Bernice for the super chats. Just to thank you so much for super chatting. Hammer time. African people can't build until they believe they can build. Also, no unity. And then the brother clarified what he was saying, the good fella 36, to clarify, unless a black person is talking about going back to the continent, aka going home to build, I'm calling BS.
Right, I agree with that. I agree. That's what I'm saying. Let's just talk about going home to build. And what gets me is this. When we talk about building, right? Now, one of the things we did in the Black African Infrastructure Organization, right? Because we knew this was going to happen. Or we foresaw, we preempted this, and we saw this was going to happen years ago before we formed the BAL 3 years ago. This is what we saw. What I was noticing, right? Every time we start talking about building and stuff like that, right? We get and I don't want to mock people because I know people don't know any better and everything like that. They're like, remember my statement? Exaggeration is the bastard child of enthusiasm. We have a lot of enthusiastic brothers out there. They're down for the cause. You know what I'm saying? They're down for the cause, but a lot of the brothers ain't got the skills. They don't have the knowledge. They don't know where to start. They don't know where to start, right? So they were very confused about where we stood about building. They're like, well, we could. No, 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 no. The reason why we're not talking about building in Georgia, why we're talking about building in Florida, is because this place has infrastructure. Now we say we want building. We say, yeah, we want unoccupied territory. We want to build. We want to show the world that we can build infrastructure from the bottom up. Well, Jag, that's going to take a lot of yes.
Yes, it is. With that being said, somebody in the chat room, hold on, let me find it. Where is it? Hold on, where is he? He said basically he's a 71-year-old man and we need to build here in America. Hold on, let me find his exact statement. But he was like, he's 71 and he thinks you're talking crazy. We're talking crazy.
Well, the bottom line, if you're going to build in America, go ahead and do it. What's stopping you? You know what I'm saying? What is that stopping you other than 400 years of just getting your ass kicked and everything like that? And they're not going to let you build anything inside the United States that's any sort of economic or political threat to them. It's not going to happen. That's just an excuse to hold on to America. That's an excuse to be American. That's an excuse to do nothing.
Here we go, Kyle. He says, speaker, if you came to my house with this critical attitude, I will not have a smile for you either. I'm a 71-year-old activist, American since the age of 13. Improve our house here.
What house? What house here? You had 400 years to say what you're going to say. 400 years. You had 400 years to build something in America, and you got nothing. Look at every last single black community, so-called community that's left in America, all in shambles. Every last single one of them. And I said this the other night on Hold Up Show. I said, look, 1988 was like the last time in Black America where we even had a political voice. Political voice to build Black America. When that didn't work out, we have 30 years of nothing. Now, this guy who wants to talk to me about building in America, what are you going to do? Who are you going to do? What political power do you have? Your politicians that you vote for every year, you vote for, are more concerned about the illegals at the border and the LGBTQ and getting rights for transgenders.
Man, Colin, I just got into Colin, what is it with African immigrants? They still are brothers and sisters. I love them.
Yeah.
They're supporting. There is so much support. They support this illegal caravan coming to America, right? But listen, Colin, let me finish, Colin. But let me finish. But I know damn well if 5,000 Nigerians were lined up at their country wanting to get in, they will lose their shit.
Bottom line, if that was 5,000 Haitians, amassing at the border of America, that wouldn't be rubber bullets and that wouldn't be just some tear gas. Those would be AR-15s, you know what I'm saying? And those would be rocket launchers or at them. If you don't freaking get that, then you're a freaking fool. The only reason why that they're using tear gas, and even that's why, in fact, they would have been killed in Mexico. If those are Haitians and Africans coming up, let some Panamanians come up the corridor in Mexico and Honduras and see how far they make it. don't give me the crap about this. They're trying to come here to practice white, black, brown supremacy and all this kind of nonsense. That's what they believe. So you talk about what you call so about you're gonna build something in America. You're gonna build anything in America, it's not gonna happen. You know, the only thing black people can do is build your family. Build you want to build something, build your family. You know, build your credit up, build your bank account up. You know what I'm saying? Get your investment portfolio up. You know what I'm saying? Do something like that. That's what you can do. You know, but collectively talking about building something inside the United States is not gonna happen. I was like I said, I was working the other day in a section of Norfolk called Ghent. Ghent's an old historic area. The area is old, but it's so well preserved. Some of the buildings there are 100 years old. You know, apartment buildings, something like you would see out of a 1920s movie, but it's all white. They got little cafe shops out there, the Christmas lights and Christmas tree. I mean, like a nice little community up there of students, retirement people, and some middle class, some white people with money. You can tell they travel and well-to-do and stuff like that. Houses are all paid off and everything, so they're living a good life, you know. And then the neighborhood adjacent to that, or it's called Park Place, is slowly being regentrified. You see more and more white young couples in their 20s and their 30s, right, buying property. Buying. Let me tell you something, and this angers me. This really angers me. Really gets my nerve. You have white people coming down from places like Wisconsin and everything. Oh, I just bought this house over here. They getting HUD loans and everything to buy houses that black people for generations. Oh, this is the hood. This is the hood. This is our hood and everything. 35th Street, 38th Street area of Norfolk. You don't believe me? Google it. You know what I'm saying? Google it. All these areas right here, these houses are being this thing is when they came up with this thing, they want to revitalize Norfolk and everything. But and everybody said, "Oh, we're gonna revitalize Norfolk." But what we didn't know was black people weren't part of the plan. You know, we didn't know that all these federal dollars that were coming in to revitalize these old, broken, decrepit communities. Everybody, oh, our communities will look brand new when it's done. Oh, it does look brand new when it's done. But guess what? You are not there no more. So please don't tell me about no friggin' what you're gonna build here in America and all this kind of friggin' nonsense and everything because you are not on the point. You are not on the plan. Everyone has basically given up on the idea of Daniel Moynihan just basically said black people are a hopeless case back in 1968 with his Moynihan report. You know, and people have been living by that for the last 50 years. That Black America is a hopeless case. You know what I'm saying? And what little things we tried to do over the last 50 years and everything like that is now come down to a dwindle. They don't even basically talk about black issues anymore because it's a hopeless case. There's nothing collective that's going to happen here in America for black people and everything. Now, if you want to build something, well, the best chance we have is to invest in a particular host African country and start building many city states over on the continent. Then we can have our investment portfolios. We can say, hey, look, you know, I got such a much dollar in my 401k. I like to invest in this over here in this African country over here. We can transfer billions of dollars in equity and financial capital to the continent. That's how we could be a help to the continent of Africa. And we could basically be in a position to bid on government contracts. Girl told me today. She said, "Well, you know, the reason why we deal with China because blah blah blah." I said, "Look, you have black people and black African American construction engineers, everything that could build anything, that build highways and also particularly here on the east of the United States seaboard. You got that could build you anything, tunnels, anything. Yeah, and we got engineering companies in America, you know, project managers, everything you have in America. You do not need to go to the Chinese, you know. But our brothers and sisters in Africa, but instead of acknowledge that, they have brought to the idea that every time you see Black America, all they want to look at us as, oh, the ghetto and all this kind of stuff like that. Where you basically don't understand there's a thriving Black community here of business people, professionals that can do anything. You know, the healthcare industry, anything everything you need if we linked up together. No, but that just doesn't happen. It's better to basically go to Europe and get these flunkies from Europe, or let the Chinese come in and build you substandard roads that's gonna fall apart. I was watching one video the other day with this. It was in Malawi, right? A Chinese-built airport. The thing was flooded. Can you imagine the airport being flooded? You know, I don't know if it was a rain or it was a main break or what, but people sitting there walking in knee deep in water in the airport. But people got so much,
Yeah, that's
basically,
crazy. Yeah.
so much confident in the Chinese. Not saying the Chinese don't have good engineers, but they're not sending their best engineers to the continent. They're not doing that. Bridges collapsing in some of everything because there's no real oversight, there's no real inspection system, and there's no follow up system and maintenance. You know, follow up system and maintenance. We have to start taking infrastructure seriously. That has to be on everybody's mind. You know, infrastructure. Infrastructure is how it all holds together. You know, we can't when we're gonna start building, we have to talk about infrastructure, and that has to be everybody's responsibility to want to know what's going on with this building. How do we build this port, this airport being built? How is it going to facilitate this and everything like that? All of us black people globally have to be concentrated on black African infrastructure. Do I understand? Do you understand what the word black African infrastructure means? Let me spell it again. It's called Black African infrastructure. Right now, we're living under the white European infrastructure. Everything, the banks, the communication system, the telecommunication system, is all controlled by them globally. Now, we're talking about building a Black African infrastructure. You know, that means black people, black race, have to have their own infrastructure. So I hope that answers that question. Can we build here? Can you build railways here? No. Can you build an airport here? No. Can you build a seaport here? No. Right now, let me give you an example. They're building a natural gas pipeline that's sneaking down from one of the port terminals that's going to export terminals going to be Norfolk, and the city councilman is trying to block it here. Oh, we're going to block it, whatever. That's just a holdout to get some sort of concession, whatever like that. But anyway, the pipeline is going to go from it's going to link from Maryland, I think through West Virginia, Maryland, I don't know, all the way down to North Carolina. Along the way of that corridor is going to be little substations and everything. And those substations, little small towns, satellite towns might be built and whatnot. You know what I'm saying? To service those the pumping stations and everything like that of this natural gas pipeline that's going to facilitate right here on the between these three or four states. Now, the question I want to ask is, how many black companies are getting subcontracting work? The white man, the white boys, they're getting all the contracting work. They're getting all this contracting work and stuff like that. Are we preparing ourselves? We should be in a position to be like, look, we want to be able to do something. We could dig ditches. You know, we could give us a contract to bulldoze some trees down. Give us some contracts to saw this and build this and to supply this and everything like that. That's what's called like the movie back in the days, Piece of the Action, with Sidney Poitier and Bill Cosby, Piece of the Action. Give us a piece of the action. And the whole thing is this: I think we're in a freaking good position to do that. Is because the bottom line is this: if we start strengthening our hand over in Africa and stuff like that, we could be in a position to uh, to demand more as far as like even the Keystone Pipeline. You know what I'm saying? You know, I mean, you mean to tell me we can't get contracts to lay a few miles of pipeline? You know, you mean to tell me we lay pipeline before we have black contractors and everything lay pipeline. We have a brother out there in Ohio who built one of the largest fleets of since 1978. He built one of the largest oil fleets in America. You know, he started with his first oil truck, brought his his gas truck, and filled it up and everything. He said, "Man, now he has a whole fleet." You know that guy? You heard about that guy?
I have not. I have not.
Well, I think I did a show. I think I did a thing on him, but he who he is and everything should be known. I mean, I'm not gonna knock Dr. Cordis and nothing like that, but all the black men who are successful in America, how come we don't know much about them? But we do know a lot about these people, the gurus. We should do this. We should do that. We're like, but the black men who are
But,
actually doing it,
you just said something, Carla, because you're right. The successful black people, we have no clue who they are.
they're out there. You know why? Because they're not on the internet. You know what I'm saying? They're not on the internet giving advice. They're out there doing it. But what we have to do is start showcasing these people. Like we used to do all the time, the BAL years ago, and not the BAL, but before it was the BAL, before my show and whole show, we used to have people on. Like we had Reggie Milliman on, and we had a lot of other people on. We tried to showcase them and say, look, this is what this person's doing, and boom, 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 and profile them. People didn't know who Aliko Dangote was until all of us, our crew, we started talking about Aliko Dangote. No one who knew who Aliko Dangote was. Nobody who knew who the Dangote group was in Nigeria. Because nobody wanted to talk about him. I said, we hold on. We used to talk about this stuff like that. Well, illegal Dangote. Well, some clown called in the radio show. I said, so illegal Dangote should he should only do business in America because there's no money in Africa. Yeah, baby. But do you know who? I don't know who no illegal Dangote. You know what I'm saying? Well, he's the richest black man. Man, I don't know nothing about that. Of course you don't. You're a dumb, stupid Negro who want to call in and talk a bunch of nonsense.
Hey, Colin, let me read the super chat. Let's see a couple super chats. Shout out to Soraya M. Thank you for the super chat. To the brother speaking in Dynast, I don't think Black America is completely hopeless. I think we should invest in our own here as well. Foundation, and shout out and Blacksmith Financial. African Americans can chew gum and walk at the same time. We can build in Africa and America at the same time.
I agree.
Organization, brothers.
I agree. Well, the thing is, let's build in Africa and build in America. I'm not saying give up America. I'm saying like this is. Let me make it seem. Maybe I could simplify it. Maybe I could simplify it. I can simplify. Maybe I can put this in layman's terms, right? You have a successful business. You're, let's say, you're a coding company, or you're a software engineer, right? You got the software that can revolutionize business, right? You got major contracts with different cities across America, right? You're doing well. You got a nice house in the suburbs, blah, 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 blah. A chance opportunity, the governor of Rwanda says, you know something, this happened. Get this happened. But this brother actually went there in Botswana. He moved his whole family over there. Now, I'm not advocating for that initially. There's another thing, right? There's another thing we gotta discuss, right? There's so many people, as soon as they get the opportunity to just cut ties with America, they just jump ship and go there. They put everything in Africa. I'm not saying that you put all your eggs in one basket. You know what I'm saying? You can live on here and you can have a house on the continent. You know what I'm saying? Maybe you go, if you have own a business, you go live on the continent 6 months out of the year, live 6 months over here. And that's fair, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? If you're not ready to really commit, you can go there, go to the continent on vacation, open up a business, have whoever you hire, blah, blah, blah. You can basically, because I believe America is going to be the source of capital. This is where you learn. This is where the skills are. This is where all the ingenuity and the stuff like that is. Why would you cut ties with the source of information? This is where the information is. Transport that back to the continent. This one brother, he took his whole family to Botswana. He's like, I'm getting out of here. He's an engineer, software engineer. He got a good contract over there. He was like, I'm gone. And Kayla Sutton did on her blog. She interviewed him. Yeah, she moved his whole family over there. He's ready to live the African lifestyle. Some people want to do that. It's like, I'll forget it. I wouldn't suggest that on the whole. I think you should do both. Some people in a position to do that, this and the other thing. Maybe he was in a position to do that. But like the brother said, if you don't feel like you can just go, but I don't understand why is it that the Chinese can have like 4 and 5 addresses around the world and black people can't. A Chinese man he'll have a residency in Dubai, right? He'll have an address in London. He'll have an address in Singapore, Hong Kong, or whoever like that. He'll have business networks all across the world, social clubs and everything like that, business meeting groups, everything all across the globe. But the black man in America and everything, not only we can't leave America, we can't even leave the different cities. If you're in Atlanta, geez, man, I gotta stay here in Atlanta. I can't go to Los Angeles. No, I can't do that. I can't go to New York. I'm ATL now. I'm bound by ATL. It's all about being in bondage. Black people are like being in bondage. You have to get up and move, and you have to move around. Look at Diners. Diners is all over the place. He's in one city, he's here, he's there, he's in this country, he's in that country. There's no bounds. There's no bounds. Don't be bound to any country. Yes, you can walk your two guns. You can build your business here and invest in Africa. What I would love to see is someone create the investment app, where all the different African investment stock exchanges and everything like that are on an investment tool like Robinhood, where people can basically say, look, I want to invest in this company that's doing business over in Africa. And we'll go to your thing, say, I want to put like $200 here to invest in this business right here. You know, Once that happens and everything like that, then you're doing your part. You say, I want to invest in Africa. Well, gee, the time is going to come where you're going to be able to go to your app on your phone and your laptop and invest right there from the thing because that's what's going to be coming next. As we start building more ties. Now, people say, Kala, well, how do you know it's going to happen? Why? Because we're doing the hard work of building the social contact, the social context to do this. What do I mean by social context? By us basically breaking down barriers, breaking down doors, and kicking some heads in, whatever we have to do, and saying that we're involved in Africa, whether you like it or not. We're going to be over in Ghana, we're going to be in Nigeria, and we got a brother John Cash, and he's in Nigeria. Well, we got all the people in Nigeria or Rwanda, Angola, whoever country, or Kenya, wherever we're at, and we're basically saying where's the opportunity where we're going to be a thing. And as more and more of us start traveling to the continent, getting to know people, you got your brother O'Shea over there. I like his interview with Dr. Mumby and everything. And you got Brooke Phil from the Advice Show. And this is what I love about what I see about brothers like Phil and O'Shea and bro, guys, Phil, you guys look so right at home. You know what I'm saying? You're right at home. It's like you can't take that away. You know what I'm saying? You cannot take that away from these brothers. You know what I'm saying? Phil looks like a king when he was sitting there and he's talking about Africa. That's his mother. You can see the bloodline, and then the brother looks like a freaking king. You know what I'm saying? And the bottom line is this: this is going to have a lot of power. You know what I'm saying? Globally. You know what I'm saying? That we, the sons of Africa, are claiming what's ours. You know what I'm saying? We're coming out of America. Does not mean that everybody has to go. I'm not expecting everybody to be like me. We want people to hold down what we have in America and fight for civil rights and stuff like that. Keep doing what you're doing. But can we agree that some of us that this is important as our right for civil rights in America? Can we compromise? Can we compromise with that? You know what I'm saying? Are we that intolerant that it got to be one way or the other?
Let me read some of these super chats real quick. Eric B. Quasi, thank you for the super chat. I love the way Tanzania's president is operating. John Zanner, thank you for the super chat. Shout out to Sheikh Sise Nagadef. Born in New York, went back to Senegal and built my earth bag house designed by a Black American for less than 10K at Migrating Culture. Oh, that's the dude in Ghana, Sheik. I know exactly. Brandon Rogers, I think his name is. I think that's his name. He's in Ghana. I'm gonna try to get up with him when I go to Ghana in about 2-3 weeks. Nubian Page, thank you for the super chat. Chief Drino, shout out Akude Bowden. Peace, Diners. Chief Drino, we got to get you on the show, Chief. What's good, family? Thanks, Kala. Let's call out tribalism in Africa. I've been doing that. It's worse than Coonin, absolutely.
Tribalism is so unnecessary.
Right. Just
and mostly done by these pseudo chic people who want to live in modern world, live in something like that, but want to talk tribalism. You want to talk tribalism, but you want to act white and coon and buck dance and everything. But yeah, you want to talk tribalism, So that's a bunch of nonsense. Yeah, we're gonna keep calling out tribalism because tribalism is the one thing. I'm watching this TV series on Netflix called The Roman Empire. I think a History Channel made it, but I'm just like fascinated. It was one part of series was about Julius Caesar and his rise when they expelled him. They took his seat away from him, and he went to France with to fight the Gauls. Right now, the Gauls were like 1,000 different tribes, all divided. Right, So he kept conquering all the different Gaul tribes and everything. So finally, the Gauls who hated each other, right? They united against it. They said, "Let's put all differences aside. We're all Gauls. The enemy is the Romans. You know, Julius Caesar, right? Caesar eventually defeated them. But the point was, just like the Gauls' identity came from a united front against the Romans. You know, in other words, basically, we hate each other, we're warring, we have different beefs and everything. But when comes down to it, the real enemy is the Romans. You know what I'm saying? And Africa is just the opposite. The Europeans showed up on the coast, right? And instead of Africans saying, well, these guys, the white man is the enemy, these guys are basically causing us to fight each other. They're the enemy. The Africans just the opposite. We turn against each other, and to this day, we can't see the fact that the Europeans and the Chinese and these people are the enemy. You know, you have people actually saying now that we much rather have Chinese there than African Americans. You know, why? Because they figure the Chinese. They said they figure they could get rid of the Chinese. And so I told one friend on Facebook, if you think the Chinese, you don't know the Chinese very well. If you think they're building that stuff and everything, they're just gonna one day build all that and just leave, or you're sadly mistaken. You know, we have Chinatowns in America. They try to get rid. How many times they try to get rid of Chinatowns in America and all around the world? They're still there. The Chinese settle places. They're there to stay. And not only that, the Chinese are building their own grid, their own infrastructure on the African continent. Now, so that's one thing. But if you say the Chinese are there, blah blah, they're helping us everything, but at the same time you say black people in America don't deserve, well deserve, they should not have territory and land and to build and everything like that, so we can start rebuilding the African continent. There's something really seriously wrong with that situation. You know, you're all right with Chinese settling on the continent, but you don't. You say, well, the Chinese are not. You know, the Chinese.
Well, like I said, Kala, they would rather, and we learned this in Liberia. They would rather have. They would prefer westernization, modernization, and the democracy with the white face on it or non-black face on it.
Yeah, yeah. It's just sad. It's a sad situation. Why is that? Why is that happening? Because, like I said, we have a sick mentality that we love anything that's not black. You know. And let's talk about this the popular culture now. You have Viola Davis, who made a movie called Widows.
Right. She said that she wants to have more sex scenes with white men.
Yeah, and guess what happened to her movie? It bombed. It bombed, and it bombed badly. I mean, bombed badly. You know, and so this goes with the Ava DuVernay movie, A Whisper in Time, another flop. What you call a Proud Mary? You know, flop. You know, I mean, what part of this
Proud Mary? But Proud Mary, that's what Tahari. That's like an action movie, right?
Yeah.
I still gotta check that. I want to go check that out. I think.
Don't waste your money, man. But come on, 50-year-old woman going out there in leather, shooting up shit, man. Come on, you know. You know. And
Dirty Harry did it at the age 70. Why can't the Dirty Harry? Clint, Bruce Willis.
Just like the Jill Scott situation.
Hey, Pam Grier was about 50, right?
Yeah, you know. At some point in time, we got to put a brakes on this, man. I don't want to see my grandmoms out there. I think, 50. I think of, okay, how was I? My grandmom Dukes is out there, right? And I was like in fourth grade, grandmas. And so in other words, my grandma's out there.
Your grandma Dukes is out there doing.
Yeah, grandma Dukes is out there. Jill Scott,
bazooka. Two Uzis. She got the Uzis.
Or it's just like what you call like Jill Scott with that microphone or whatnot. Who's 46 years old. I'm thinking, well, I remember my grandma was 46. Y'all was like in third grade. I can't imagine my grandma's out there. You know what I'm saying? Grandma out there with a microphone. Doing it. No, black women got to start doing better. They gotta start. Our sisters gotta start doing better, man. It's just, it's like everyone's trying to coon their way up. You can't coon your way up. It ain't gonna happen. Everybody's trying to coon. Now they're trying to bring that coon culture to Africa. People think they're gonna coon in Africa and get away with it. No, it don't work like that.
Hey, your grandma with the microphone. Listen, your grandma.
You're muted.
I'm not muted. I'm not muted. I'm not muted. I'm not muted. Can you hear me?
I'm not muted. You can't hear you.
Press 1 in the chat if you can hear me, because I'm not muted. Hold on.
I can't hear you.
Hello, can you hear me?
Hello.
I'm not muted.
Oh no, sorry. My thing was out.
Yeah, I'm tripping. Yeah, but your grandma, your grandma's on the mic.
Oh no,
this is the Karen White, Superwoman with the mic.
Oh man, that's nasty. Oh man, but it's like, you know what it is?
I'm not your Superwoman. I'm not the type of girl that only human.
Oh my God! Yeah, and you saw the blowback I got for that on Facebook, right? How dare you, Colin, with that? I'm like, look, I'm sorry, man. Just something's not right about that. And I'm like this. Sisters, man, love them, but they gotta come up a little better, man. And you know what it is? You know what it is? And I'm gonna say something. I'm gonna pour my heart out right now. Just to know, College Genesis is not a cold-hearted bastard that people think I am. Well, I am, but I'm gonna tell you something right now, man. And I wish it took me all these years to say this and whatnot. And I thank God that this movement is happening right now. And I think one of the main problems in America, in Black America, is like I said, I listened to your sister Rashid the other night, man, and I was like, you guys had a good time, but I was almost like in tears, in tears, Dias. I was listening to your show the other night, and I said like this, man, Rashida, what I'm saying, if I could tell her that, how could I say it? How could I say this, man? You spend your whole childhood life, and you always want that red bone chick, dark skinned girls were never good enough for you and everything like that. I think about it now, man. I'm letting myself pour my heart out right now, man. But the whole thing is this: can you imagine if we loved Black women, loved all Black women, how happy we would have been all these years if we didn't buy into the friggin' propaganda about color? Because I think about it all the time, man. You wouldn't lie, you date girls, this and the other thing, but the one you want to marry is that light skin chick. We all did that shit. And I think because us Black men bought into this color stuff and everything like that, I think we destroyed. And then women have a lot to do with it too. But this whole thing about colorism and everything like that, and not appreciating African beauty and stuff like that. That's why when I see you and those sisters in Africa, I mean, my God, that's just such a. If you don't feel, let me tell you something, folks. I'm gonna say something. If you look at Dynas's thing and see those fine African sisters that he's with, if your thing ain't saying that I want to get over there because Dynus hasn't, you haven't even shown any chicks from Ethiopia now. You haven't even done that shit yet.
No, but but why? I mean,
that's what I'm saying. All West African chicks, right? Beautiful. I mean, oh my God. I mean, just feminine, beautiful, soft, all this stuff like that. If you don't like that, then you either want to be white, you're a swirler, or you're gay. You know what I'm saying? And I'm saying to myself, when you see that you have a whole continent of beautiful women, you have land, you have beautiful coastline, you have mountains, you have rivers, valleys, you have everything you need to build a civilization, build modern civilization, build families, sustain yourself, build organized culture, and all the stuff like that, and the strong government, central governments, and everything. And you want to sit here and tell me about America and what I want to build in America. No, I'm saying, oh, get back there. We can walk short, we can walk and chew gum at the same time. I agree with that. But the idea that we're gonna freaking that after I've seen the light and I've seen the light and Diane's have seen the light and everything like that, that we're not gonna one day have this African black utopia in Africa, you are sadly mistaken. Because once you have the vision in your head, and once you have this vision in your head, we're gonna make sure these coons, all these fools, and all these people are reining in. Because the bottom line is this. Bottom line is this. If you can't appreciate what you have, that's yours. And you still think that because you think that me and Dinosaur are a conspiracy to deny you your Native American birthright of America. You know what I'm saying? You think that you're going to rise up in America and you're going to take back America because you think America is your natural homeland and Africa is not. That we're trying to trick you into going to Africa as to deny you your heritage. You are a freaking fool. So the bottom line is this. So yeah, somebody said African American. Oh, I love African American women. They're beautiful. You know what I'm saying? But I'll leave that one alone. I mean, nothing wrong with African American women. Love them. But the whole thing is, and we just basically have to have, uh, uh, we have to become a global people. As far as like, as far as like, being black and African and building culture and building everything. I really believe that we are winning. You know what I'm saying? I couldn't have said this 5 years ago, but I do believe we're winning. There's something in the air. There's something in the air that says like this. And I believe, Dias, that this is our will to survive. I think there's something on the line where black men are just turning away. You see the discussion that's going on online. You know, black men are just turning away from the buffoonery. You know, anyone who's a buffoon and all this stuff like this, we're turning away from. You know, we want something real. Black men, let me tell you something. Black men in America are ready for something real. You know, we've been chasing this idea of, you know, Beyonce and all kind of nonsense and everything, the whole weave and black men want something real. You know what I'm saying? And when we look at Africa, we're saying, wow, this is something real. This is something that I could be. That's all mine. And a word of warning to white people. Like I said, saw that picture of you dining in Benin, and there's a white guy looking at you sideways. You know, white people and everything like that. If you are in Africa, be very quiet and be very humble. You know what I'm saying?
Hey, but you know what's crazy? The it's really not the African, it's the African immigrant will give
Yeah,
us that the white man disclaimer, but won't give the white man a white man disclaimer.
yeah. The African immigrant in America. They're the most bitter people. You know what it is this. And we try to tell the African, no matter what we say to them, they don't seem to get it. They don't understand that I look at this one video and I'm seeing that you got neo Nazis and everything like that that joining the police department. They have not gone away. You got neo Nazis, stuff like that. And I'm like, that's like African immigrants. They can go, oh, I come over. I'm like, do you understand? When you come over to America, you're joining a race war. Black people in America are on edge at any time a race war could break out. Anytime we could be killed, anytime we could be shot, we could be arrested. You know, for any little thing. You see now, they're playing drugs on people. Dynas, man, I could be look up one day and whatnot, brother Dynas, man, coming out of Atlanta and whatnot. Next thing you know, they found, this. They're planting drugs on people. They record drugs. I mean, these people, you don't know who's in the police department nowadays. You don't know what their agenda is. Like I said on the show Sunday, I said, look, the office of the civil rights, which should have been strengthened and emboldened. Well, basically, it was always a joke anyway, because anytime you have civil rights thing, it was only basically almost like a civil case, or let's say it was a murder case, whatever like that. And you had the Justice Department if they had sufficient grounds to prosecute, whatever like that. But when it came down to policies and stuff like that, of local, the civil rights division had to sue in court. If the courts are packed with federal judges that are Republican, it's a joke. But at the still same time, I still think over the years, with Obama in there, they should have packed it. He should have a civil rights star overlooking all police shootings in America. You know, he should have had. Oh, I mean, the office of the civil rights is so gutted and so weakened right now. And people say, "What's the big deal?" Big deal, Negro. Listen to this and listen to this very, very carefully. The only thing that was protecting Black America for years since the Civil Rights Movement is that Office of the Civil Rights. This idea that the federal government had oversight. Other than that, they can do whatever they want to you in these local precincts, and it would never go any higher than the state. And you still, and even with this Office of Civil Rights, it's very hard to get a thing. But at least a lot of people don't want that sort of scrutiny. You would have thought with a Black president that, oh my God, a Black attorney general. Oh my God! I said to myself, man, we ride. We got a Black attorney general and blah blah blah. These niggas they do nothing, you know. And in fact, the civil rights division got even weaker because they pulled Obama's card. Well, what are you going to have when you have two half-caste mutts up there posing as Black men? You know, like what I said. Ooh, Kala, how you say that? You know, yeah, two half-caste mutts up there posing as Black men. Well, what do you think was going to happen? Nothing. Now you have Trump and you had Jeff Sessions and everything talking about Black identity. I mean, look, we're in a dangerous situation. We're in a dangerous situation. You know, I don't plan to be here in the next 5, 6 years. You know, I want to get out of here. I want to make my money, invest in the continent, and get the hell out of here. You know, if I have to be here, it'll be just briefly checking on business, whatever, visit my family, whatever, and get the hell out. That's how I want to be. I want to be across the ocean all the time. My point I'm trying to make is this: unless you're going to talk about a race war or whatever like that in America and everything like that, or basically just swallow your pride, do like Common said. You know, everybody, we'd have a 1 million man march on Washington, right? Let's think about this. Think about this, guys. What if we had a 1 million man march on Washington, right? A million Negro march on Washington, right? Which we went there, and the theme was, "We forgive you. We don't want to cause no more trouble. We don't care about slavery no more." Like Steve Harvey, I don't give a damn about slavery. That's what white people really want to hear.
All right.
You know, you guys did us a favor by bringing us over here. We's grateful Americans, and just leaves us alone and everything. We don't want reparations. We don't want anything. We're just good Negroes like that. White people would celebrate, and basically they'll leave you alone. They would. You know, they would. They'll leave you alone. But since Black people have too much pride, and that's not going to happen, and you know for a fact of the matter, you ain't got no balls to start no race war because you can't start a war if you got no ability to win. You know, the only thing you can think
let me read something. Let me read this real quick. So it's just an article. I'm going to read the entire article later on, but I'm just going to read the headline, the title of it. Homes owned by Black Americans undervalued by $156 billion.
Of course. I mean, and that's the reason why that happens is because when you live in a Black neighborhood, it's hard for Black people to resell their homes. Let me give you an example. When you live in a white neighborhood, it's like living on the grid. You know what I'm saying? There's not only to say Black America, 99% of Black people live on the grid in America, right? But let's say the grid in America has 5 different stages, tiers. You know, there's tier 1, the basic, you live in housing project, trailer park, blah blah blah. You know, tier 2. You know, you live in a working class community, blah 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 blah. Tier 3, you know, sort of gated community right here. Tier 4, a posh neighborhood and everything like that. Tier 5, a penthouse mansion, right? But you're still living on the grid. Black community, the Black neighborhoods are under The majority black community, 99% black community, no matter how nice the neighborhood is kept, is on the bottom. They're the least desired places to live in America. Okay? Since they're the least desired, right, the houses are harder to resell. And when they're harder to resell, the value of them go down. The value only goes by the demand. You know what I'm saying? The highest demand is that house in the tier 4, tier 5, right? Because it's exclusively majority white upper class neighborhood. That's the high value. You know what I'm saying? That's where everybody wants to live. That's where the best schools are, the best police protections are. That's where you got a convenience store where you can walk down your street at night and you got 24-hour 7-Eleven open, or you got the supermarket open 24 hours a day. And you have where black neighborhood and everything's shut down at 8 o'clock. You know, you go to a convenience store, the people have bulletproof windows right there. You got they put your money through the thing and everything like that. You know what I'm saying? Where you live in those things, there's bullets flying, there's bullet cases on the ground, broken bottles, everything like that and everything. But you live in the hood, you know, piss everything all over the place, everything. That's the bottom. Houses in those neighborhoods basically have their negative value. Now, what gets me is, get this. Let's say, and this happened in Charleston right now as we speak. You could take one block. You could take a developer come in and say, "I want." Let's say he has 5 houses on the block. Whole block is abandoned, right? And a corner, there's a corner store on the block. He said, "I'm gonna buy the whole thing, right? Put them in, get the money to redevelop them, sell them to low income white families, everything, right? Guess what? The value of the property goes up. Why? Because the next guy is going to come and say, on the next block, say, I'm going to do the same thing. That's how regentrification starts. Now everyone's getting hot. Wow, this neighborhood revitalized. Why? Because they see you see it all the time. You see little white women out there with their little kids and everything. She got her cell phone. You know, that's why you see police all the time knocking brothers upside the head. Because every time she sees anything unusual, somebody standing on the street corner, blah, blah, blah. That's what these police incidents are coming from. These whites are moving into these areas. You know, these whites are moving into these areas. Bernice said, Kyle speaking the truth. I try to. These whites are moving into the area, and they keep the police on speed dial and everything like that. This what happens is this: crime goes down, right? Then the value of the neighborhood property starts skyrocketing, where the remaining blacks are now being pushed out. You know what I'm saying?
Where I'm at right now is evident. I'm in the West in Atlanta, and as it
It's all over America. It's all over America. I don't have to go there to tell you it's happening. I see it every day. It's all over America. And say, why is this happening? I think we black people have to get to the point where, and like I said, people say, well, we're going to build a nation after this. Let me tell you something. The same problems you think you're escaping from America, not only will be waiting for you, and we see signs of it now. Not only will be waiting for you in Africa, not only will follow you to Africa, they'll be waiting for you on the shore. Until we get rid of niggerism and Coonin, niggerism and tomfoolery and all this kind of stuff, none of this stuff is going to work. As long as we want to be niggas, you know what I'm saying? And we don't want to distance ourselves from the fools, the clowns, and all this kind of nonsense in our career. Look at this guy, Tanashi was 6'9", out of Chicago and everything. Not even black. Nigga this, nigga that.
He's white. He's white.
You know what I'm saying? Oh, you know, but guys, break that down for us. You know more about this than I do.
I mean, the majority of Latinos who come to America, who are in America, identify as white. But we let them run around, use the N-word, in this, in that, and in the words of my confused friend, is because they allegedly struggle the same way we do.
Yeah,
they went the same struggle.
Now, if you got that white skin, you ain't struggling. You know what I'm saying? You ain't struggling. You can put a suit, tie on, anything, go any place, and go and sit in any restaurant, and nobody's gonna bother you. You know what I'm saying? Nobody's gonna bother me. I don't want to hear that crap about what you went through and everything like that. You know, and not only that, we're the only group of people that let people say the N word, say also like that, and degrade us. And so no wonder why Africans come over. He's like, well, nobody else respects you. Why should we respect? Let me ask you a question, Diana. If we don't require respect from nobody else, why should Africans disrespect us? And that's one of the things my good friend Charles Goodrich said. He said, "How come you guys don't come after Asians? Asians treat you guys like this too. They think you guys are all these things, stereotypes we have about you, but you guys are." That is true though. Why do we always come after African immigrants for the way they talk about us and the way they think about us? But yet we say nothing about other races when they talk about us like that. Do we expect more from them, or they blind to something like that? They're supposed to be blind to the nonsense that they see in Black America.
Yeah.
Huh?
No, I mean it's just that everybody's following the cue of white supremacy. That's all it is.
Yeah. Everybody's following the cue. Everybody's like, well, geez, if y'all if everybody else is calling y'all niggas and talking all the stuff like that, why can't we? Why can't we do the same thing? Why can't we join the fun? And so nobody respects us. You got these rappers out here talking all this nonsense. We're the only group of people that celebrates death and destruction and misogyny about women and murder and drugs. No other genre, no other music around the world does this. You hear music, popular culture music. You ever go to out to dinner and you see a bunch of Thai people or Filipinos, everything. They got their families together and they may be doing karaoke and they're singing folk songs or popular songs and everything. There's everybody's getting down and everything like that. Oh, they listen to some classical hip hop. Nothing in their music will basically degrade their women, call them bees and hoes. Nothing in their music will talk about killing their brothers or I'll smoke that nigga, I'll kill that nigga, I'll murder that nigga, and all this kind of stuff like that. Nothing. No, the only group of people that talk this is the black man in America. Why? Because our soul. The white man, deep down inside the black man is a white man. You have to get rid of the white man out of your soul. Once the white man comes out of your soul and you stop looking at yourself as a white man, you stop hating what you are, you stop hating your hair, you stop hating your nose, you stop hating your skin, you start loving who you are and what you are and whatnot, you'll come out of this. But as long as we hate what we are and despise what we are, despise the continent of our or we spawned from, and don't have any desire to connect everything, the blessings that the world God wants to store on you can only have wealth and freedom with land. Without land, you have no freedom. And a black man, African American man, needs to have his own land. You know what I'm saying? Not saying that everybody got to get on the boat and go, but just like the Jews have Israel, every Jew in the world they have the state of Israel. The African American, the African diaspora, the black man of America, and the black man of the transatlantic slave trade. Well, he needs to have a state, a land of his own. That we build, that we invest in, that we have refuge in. If you don't agree with that, I don't know what else to tell you. That's the only thing that's going to solve it. I don't know about ancient spirituality. I asked a question about spirituality on the page, and no one could give me an answer. I said, explain to me what spirituality is. Well, it's anything that's not. I said, well, what is it? I went for 10 days. Nobody could explain to me exactly what they mean by spirituality. It's just basically like this: we don't need spirit, we need land. You know what I'm saying? Bring your spirits over there. You know what I'm saying? You can have all the spirituality you want. You know what I'm saying? We need something tangible, land. Something to build, something that's all sacred land that's our own. I don't believe in spirit. Oh, we need spirituality. Spirituality what? You're still in captivity. You're nowhere. Study it. Study what? Somebody said, "Hey, so study what?" I ask people, so give me a specific. What is the spirituality? You don't say study it. If you study it, you type in here what you're talking about. You know, you can't. It's a bunch of nonsense. Nobody ever challenged you on it. Same thing. Everybody got a religion, whatever like that. I've had enough of religion. spirituality can get you land. Yeah, okay. And I'm sure that the white man when he came to America, the spirituality what got him to America. When it wasn't the guns and
It was. Dear white Jesus, help us take the land from the Negro. That was the spirit.
spirituality where. Well, again, spirituality way of life. What way of life? What way of life? Spirituality way of what? Sitting in a freaking Yoda position, meditating. Is that what you mean by spirituality? You know, yeah, the white man, yeah, he got spirit, yeah, he got a land all right. His spirituality, yeah. Yeah, he had his cross up there and everything like that. He showed his white Jesus. You know what I'm saying? That's what did it, man. That's what did it. You know? Not religion. That's the problem. It's not religion. Yeah, I heard that before. Basically, act what you don't know what the hell he's talking about. I heard that argument. Oh, spirit is not religion. It's spirituality. Same damn thing, you know?
Yeah, but Colin, let's go ahead and close out, brother.
Yeah.
Anything you want to share in closing?
Well, let me say this, folks. What we at the BAIO believe in is building. Building. I don't believe in spirituality. Keep your spirituality and religion to yourself. I want people that's going to build. You know what I'm saying? If you want spirituality, go to somebody else. I don't want to talk about religion. I don't want to talk about spiritual. None of that stuff. I want to talk about what we can build. You know what I'm saying? When you got something real, you know what I'm saying? Spirituality is not religion. You don't know what he's talking about. Spirituality is not religion. Spirituality is not religion. He don't know what he's talking about. Then what is it then? If it ain't religion, what is it? You know what I'm saying? It's just your spirituality is just your imagination. The bottom line is about building, about building. It's about having a science. You know, spirituality, I believe in STEM. Science, technology, engineering, and math. That's my spirituality. You know what I'm saying? That's my spirit. Land infrastructure, nationhood. That's my spirituality. Having a nation state of my own. That's spirituality. Yeah, spirituality no actually means nothing. Yeah. It means faith without works is death, you know? That means you have faith, you have no works. Your spirit, you can believe something, but you have no workmanship. You're just talking about a bunch of nonsense. Build with what mindset? Build with what you build. You know what I'm saying? But build with what mindset? And whatever mindset we have is going to be better than what you have right now because of the mindset you have right, the stuff you have right now. You're living under white supremacy in America. So whatever we're going to build is going to be 1,000 times better than what we have right now, right? Well, other people always come in here trying to be the turd in the punch bowl. Yeah, let me just come in and be the turd in the punch bowl. I'm gonna build this other thing, you know. Everybody, we gotta get us started. You know, it's when you start, so you know how you get yourself together when you really have a plan. You want to build something. When you want to really build something, and you put what you're saying to the test. Anyone could talk. Like we're the BAIO. We have all these people, chapters and everything in the BAIO. And we have people, we have chapters, we talk about science, technology, everything. People come in and like, okay, I want to see what they're talking about and everything like that. You know how hard it is to get people to even freaking open up and start talking about stuff they already know and say, okay, let's meet the bill, stuff like that. So everyone quick to talk about spirituality and everything. But when it comes down to actually building something and putting projects together and building, moving forward, and everything, everybody's like, oh no, I gotta wait for the right sign and wonder to come from the sky.
I gotta wait for the ancestors to call me.
I gotta wait for the ancestors to call from some of the ancestors. Basically, you're just stalling and you're about nothing. The BAIO, that's why I said our group is the best nationalist group there ever was and ever will be. And we're going to the African continent next year. Bottom line, when we go there and we start branching out. We're not. It's gonna be. It's never. It's a door of no return. Bottom line is this: we about building. If you want to build with people who want to build this nation state, who want to build satellite communities in America and throughout Africa, do science and technology, learning and stuff like that. That's what we're all about. Keep your religion, your spirituality to yourself. We want your science. We want your knowledge. What do you have knowledge in this world? You know what I'm saying? What can you build in this world? What can you replace the Chinese? Let me say something right now. What can you freaking replace the Chinese with? You know, what can you replace the Europeans with? Can you do that? No. What kind of knowledge do you have that can replace the Chinese? That can replace the Europeans? What can you build? What can you create?
Here we go. Here we go. Well, at least at least I know my tribe. That's been the response I've got. At least I know my tribe.
And Diane, you want to put the link to the BAL group?
Do that. You want to go ahead and close out? I'll put the link in and then.
Okay, folks, thanks for joining us tonight. And I should be back on Search for Huru Saturday night. I think we're going to do another show Saturday night. If Diane still have us on and everything, check out my brother, Mr. Holism Show. And you can check us out, the BL social network. We have a social network that's independent of Facebook. And we don't want these people that keep complaining about, I keep getting kicked off Facebook. Blah, 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 blah. That's another thing about infrastructure we're talking about. Get your own social network. You know, if you're serious about something, you'll have your own social network. You'll start talking about industry, science, and also we talk about banking. We talk about industry, science, cryptocurrency. We talk about transportation. You know what I'm saying? Anything to do with nation building and how the world works. That's what the BAIO talks about. Tangible things, real things. You know, we're not gonna sit and talk about the superficial stuff, whatnot. If you have no knowledge and everything, stay away from us. Just sit back and be a fan. But that's what we're attracted to the BAIO. People who got education, people who have knowledge, and people who can build stuff, create, and build stuff. That's what's making this group so strong and everything. But thank you all for listening tonight. Thank you for supporting my brother Dinus. You know, and thank Dinus for this platform right here. This brother is like phenomenal. You know, without him, I don't know where we'd be right now. And like I said, join the Black African Infrastructure Organization. You know, tell us what you do. Join your local chapter. Set up a local meet and greet. And like I said, we would like to have STEM groups in each state. We like to have business clubs in each state. We would like to start coordinating. So I would love to see all the stuff we talk about online start manifesting itself. And it's not going to happen until we start loving ourselves the way other races love themselves. You know, or at least understand that we're together. You know what I'm saying? We're together, and the bottom line is our future there, because we only have 20 years. We have 20 years. The next 20 years, the next generation coming up, these little babies coming up, they're going to ask us, what do we do with our time? No, we talked about spirituality. We talked about hotel, blah, blah, blah. No. What did you build for us? You can't expect these kids. These kids don't respect you because you ain't building nothing for them. Join the Black African Infrastructure. This is a time to build something for the next generation. You know? So yes, thank you, Bernice. Thank you.
No problem, brother. No problem. Colin, thank you for joining us, guys. Make sure you go to the BIO. I'll put the link in the chat room. Thank you for joining us. Make sure you go to Search for Uhuru on Instagram, Snapchat, Twitter, and Facebook. Like, share, subscribe if you're new to the YouTube platform. Again, everyone, thank you so much. Share the content. Till next time. Peace.
Peace.